We are going to talk to you guys today about drug abuse. Drugs are a major problem among teens and college students. According to Dr. Rachel Lapari in her article, Trends in Heroin Use, published on April 23, 2015, 28% of people from the age of 18 to 25 say it's very easy to gain access to drugs. We have done research on this topic and gained knowledge about drug abuse, which is why we would be credible for this topic. Drugs are very problematic, but can be easily solved simply through abstinence. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about the main problems about drug abuse. Donovan is going to talk to you guys about how to solve it, and Deb is going to talk to you about what a world will look like without drugs. I'm going to talk to you guys first about the main problems with drug abuse. There are two main problems with drug abuse. The first one is how it affects you, and the second one is how it affects others around you. The first one is how it affects you. The two main things about how it affects you, the first one is physical and mental. The main reason how it affects you physically and mentally is through depression. People who are affected by drug abuse are affected extremely through depression, and it can cause severe pain and can lead to suicide, which is very fatal. It can also affect how you look. Drug abuse can affect extremely how you look, especially you can see this in celebrities and how over time the celebrities who have used drugs have changed throughout time. You can also see this financially and academically. Drugs cost a lot of money, and if you become addicted, it can cost a lot of money and cause you to lose a lot of money. You also do worse in school, which can cause you to get bad grades and be a lot less social. The second reason how it affects you, the main problem, would be how it affects others. It can affect your family and friends. It affects how you act. According to drugs.ie, it's not easy to live with a person whose drug abuse is causing problems. It can cause conflict, blame, and it can cause the person to be torn between the drugs and the family and friends. It can also cause the person to become a lot angry towards those people too. It also affects the people in their community who use drugs. It can cause a person to commit crime, and it also is very illegal. Now that I've talked to you guys about the main problems with drug abuse, Donovan is going to talk to you guys about how to solve it and why you guys should solve it.
Some reasons how to solve drug abuse is effectively deal with peer pressure. The number one way how people get caught on addiction with drugs is a friend pressures them into trying the drug once, then trying it a second time, trying it a third time, and you get addicted. It's not just for heroin, weed, it's also for alcohol, pills, all that kind of stuff. Another way is deal with life pressure. Sometimes life can be hard, sometimes it's easy. But when it's hard, it doesn't mean you go home, you give up, and you resort to alcohol or other drugs. It means you get up and you work through it and make life easier for yourself. Another way is seek help for mental illnesses. According to National Rehab Center, approximately 50% of people who have been diagnosed with mental illness have been or are currently abusing some sort of either alcohol or other drug abuse. Another way is examine your risk factors. So let's say if both your parents are alcoholics and you acknowledge it, you have 10 times less likely chance of being addicted to alcohol. But if your parents are both alcoholics and you say, they drink every once in a while, they do it to relax, there's a better chance of you getting addicted to alcohol yourself. There's also keep a well-balanced life. That means don't focus all your time on your social life or focus all your time on your work or your school. You want to mix it around. You want to have a perfect balance for yourself. It's different for everyone. There are 5 main ways to get over an addiction, whether it's alcohol or otherwise. There's one, Christian rehab, which is basically they go over spiritually and physically with you. They go through therapy and they go through the Bible. Generally, this is done in groups. They use it to help you get over the addiction in the fastest way they think possible. There's also dual diagnosis care, which is one of the hardest ones. It's where they both have a mental illness and they are addicted to some sort of drug or alcohol. This one's the hardest because they can either be they can be addicted to prescription medication, and in order to get over the mental illness, they have to take prescription medication. So it's one of the hardest to get over. There's also holistic rehabilitation, which is Eastern medicine, where they use either yoga or they use acupuncture to help you get the substance out of your system and get you over it. There's also long-term rehabilitation, which can take upwards of a full year to get your body used to being without the substance. It also helps you draw down ties to where you're not going to need it anymore. There's also outpatient rehab, which is one of the hardest ones to do because you're basically at your house, you're in the same environment, trying to get over it. But if you get through this one, you're one of the most likely to not go back. Now Dave is going to go over visualization.
Thank you. Imagine a world without drugs. It would change the world in a significant manner. A lot of things would change with no or reduced drug abuse. First, crime. According to Talbot Recovery in their article, A World Without Drug Abuse, the Bureau of Justice Statistics states that 70% of state inmates and 57% of federal inmates were on drugs before they were incarcerated. Many of the reasons behind these crimes, which included murder, theft, sexual assault, all fall on the shoulders of drug abuse. Drugs also lead people to steal more money just so they could buy more drugs. Without drugs, crimes and the number of state and federal inmates would go down by a staggering amount. Family violence would also decrease. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, 61% of domestic abusers are under the influence of drugs. In a Memphis study of nightmare arrests, 72 cases of drug abuse were examined, and in 91% of those cases, the offenders were under the influence of drugs. Secondly, health costs would go down by a staggering amount. According to National Institute for Drug Abuse, the drugs cost the United States $193 billion per year, and $11 billion out of the 193 goes towards healthcare. 114 people die every day from drug overdose, and every 9 out of 10 deaths due to poisoning or due to drugs. The money that goes towards the drug abusers could go towards families that are really suffering and are in need of help. Along with decreasing crime and healthcare costs, homelessness would go down by a staggering amount. It is said that every 1 in 3 homeless people are under the influence of drugs. Instead of drugs, they could spend their money on more useful things that would make a positive impact on their lives, like food, shelter, and clothing. Drugs are problematic, but the issue can be solved by abstinence. We talked about the problems with drug abuse, ways to solve it, and a future without drugs. Let's all try to make this world a better and safer place for future generations by spreading awareness and reducing drug abuse. Thank you.